To do a binomial expansion in this question. Now you could even do it by multiplying out 4 brackets. It would take a bit of time, but probably similar amount of time to if you use the general formula for binomial expansion. Here, a is equal to 2x, b is equal to 5, and n is equal to 4. Often in binomial expansion, you put the x term second because then as you go up in powers of x, it makes more sense. But because I'm finding all the terms, it's absolutely fine to do what we're doing here. So we're going to get 2x plus 5 to the 4 is equal to 2x to the 4 plus, now this is nc1, so for us it'll be 4c1 times by, and then we just lower the power of the 2x, so 2x to the 3 times by b, so times by 5, and then we just proceed by increasing, so it becomes 4c2 and then 2x squared times 5 squared. And it's dot 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 because it just carries on in the same way. 4c3 times 2x times 5 cubed. And then finally, it would be, well, 4c4 if you want, but that is just 1. It's the last term now. So it's just going to be 5 to the power 4. Okay, now you can use your calculator as much as you want or as little as you want for this next bit. Sometimes it's actually good to do things in your head. Like 2 to the 4 is just 2 times 2, 4 times 2, 8 times 2, 16. 16x to the 4. Remember, you raise this to the power 4 and the x to the power 4. Really important, don't just write 2x to the 4. Okay, next bit, I've got 4c1. 4c1 is actually just 4, but you can put it in. And times by 2 cubed. And then times by 5. 160. Two squared now, so I'm just putting 4 in and then times in by 5 squared, which is 25, 600. 4c3 is actually exactly the same as 4c1. Times by 2 times by 5 cubed. And finally, 5 to the 4 is 25 squared, it's 625. So next part, I might just copy this question and bring it down. Hence show that the expression we just had minus this expression can be written like this. Well, we can use a very similar approach to work out 2x minus 5 to the 4. Because all that is going to happen is that I replace all my 5's by minus 5. So the first term will stay exactly the same. It will be 16x to the 4. But then because I'm times it by minus 5, I'm going to get minus 160x cubed. When I look at this term here in terms of x squared, because if I replace the 5 by minus 5, because I'm squaring it, it would stay positive. So we can basically just use our answer to get this really quickly. Whereas here, we're going to get a negative, so it's going to be minus. I've just realized actually I missed the x out. Sorry, hopefully you spotted that. Minus 1000x here. And then minus 5 to the power 4 is going to be positive. It's going to be 625. Now you can write all the terms out again, 10 terms, or we can just sort of look at it and think, how are they going to subtract from one another? The 16x to the 4s are going to cancel. Then I'm going to do 160x cubed minus 160x cubed. I'm going to be adding them. It's going to be 320x cubed, which is what is here. And then the x squared terms are going to cancel. Then I've got 1000x minus 1000x. I'm going to get 2000x. And the 625s are going to cancel. So that is my answer. And it does say to state what k is, so I'm going to write it as well. K is equal to 2000. Told then to verify that x equals 2 is a root of this equation. So when x equals 2, the left-hand side is going to equal, now I don't want to, yeah, I suppose I could put it straight into here, couldn't I? It's going to equal, it's going to be 4 plus 5, 9 to the 4. And then I'm going to minus 4 minus 1, it's going to be minus 1 to the 4. That's just going to be 1. 6560. Of course, I could have put it into here. Didn't really save any time, so I just, yeah, thought I'd just substitute x equals 2 in there. The right-hand side is then going to equal 3680 times 2 minus 800, which we're expecting to be exactly the same thing. Six five six zero equals the left-hand side. Therefore, x equals 2 as a root. We're asked to find the other possible values of x. So now it's time to replace that 2x plus 5 to the 4 minus 2x minus 5 all to the 4 by what we found in part 2, 320x cubed plus 2000x. And that's going to equal 3680x minus 800. Okay, we've got a cubic equation to solve. We're going to straight away just divide it through by 10, just to make life a little bit easier. So 32, and then I'm going to cancel it down further in a minute. 32x cubed minus 168x plus 80 equals 0. Look for common factor. I think there's a common factor of 8, maybe 16 even. No, 16 is not going to go into 168. But we can divide through by 8, 21. So I'm going to get 4x cubed minus, I'm going to write 0x squared just to get that in there. Then minus 21x plus 10 is equal to 0. So x equals 2 is a root. Just showed that. So x minus 2 is a factor by factor theorem. Therefore, we can divide by x minus 2. No, all right, minus there. It doesn't matter. There's 0 lots of it. It's important to put this in as essentially as place value. Okay, and we know that when we divide, we're going to get 0 at the end. That's another test that we've rearranged this correctly. So x is into 4x cubed are going to go 4x squared, multiply back through. Subtract. Bring down the x, same again, plus 8x. Subtract. Going to get minus 5x now. And then minus 5. Hooray, 0. So therefore, x minus 2, and then what we're left with, 4x squared plus 8x minus 5 is equal to 0. Now, I think it's very tempting at this point just to use the quadratic formula on this, especially with a class with calculator, but I'm just going to give a little go at trying to see if it will factorize. Non-calculator. So 5, no, 5 and 1 isn't going to work. Like this, basically, I put the 4x and the x there. I've tried 5 and 1, but if this one is 5, then I get it's way too big. And if this one is 1, I'll get, and this one is 5, I'm going to get I'm not going to get 8x, am I? So if it's going to work, it's going to be 2x. And then a 5 and a 1, I'll get 10x, and I'll get 2x. So this will work if I make this one negative. So that would be a minus 1 here and a plus 1 there. So x is equal to 2 a half when 2x minus 1 is 0, or minus 5 over 2. Like I said, you can use the quadratic formula for that bit if you want to, but I think it's good to show more working, to show enough working to show that you understand what's going on. If you did do the quadratic formula, then you should write the whole process, all the steps down, not just the final answer. Okay, good effort.